Welcome back to the Tiny Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about this last live stream, the new pre-orders that have come up, and what all out there that I pre-ordered. I only pre-ordered one thing. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to explain why, but I am still excited for most of these releases. And with that, we're going to get into talking about this. I'll give you my take, my thoughts, some better looking pictures, because there's some excellent photography in this. Let's talk about this and more for G.I. Joe Classified real quick, coming up. First of all, we've got the Law and Order, and that figure is a nice looking figure. It's a very good representation. And we've got, of course, the canine unit, the dog. Here's the thing, it's the $45 price point, and it seems like every one of these that came with an animal seemed to go to sale or clearance down the road. Even just recently, 30 bucks for the road pig with his, whatever his animal is. So I've kind of gotten all of those on sale. I'm passing on this one. And I'm going to wait until it goes on sale. Although I do really like the character. And I think this actually does look really good. And they've done a great job with it. Here's the packaging and what it looks like in the package. Which is, overall, the packaging is more subdued. It's not bright colors. There's really nothing all exciting about the packaging. But at the end of the day, it gets the job done. It's got the clear bubble. You see the figure. You see the accessories. You see what all comes with it. And I do like that. And for a lot of G.I. Joe Classified collectors, a lot of them are displaying them only in the package, and having the window back means you can display your collection again. So that's really awesome. Good job right there. Getting into the snake, and I gotta say this one right here was bigger than I thought it would be. So I was thinking, $55 to $75 price range, because I didn't really know size and scale, but now that you can see that you literally have a whole seat for a classified figure up there, then it's huge. I personally would have liked it a little bit smaller, but it is massive. It's very impressive. Here's a picture of a Cobra Trooper officer, one of the others, just chilling inside there. And that's how it fits. That's how it works. And I do think that this is a pretty good size piece and bigger than I even thought. And the original one, it was just slightly bigger than a figure because you put the arms and you at least put the legs on the figure. That's kind of how that worked. Yeah, the legs were in the legs, and the figure was part of it. So there's no legs into this. So this is going to be considerably larger scale-wise. But then again, I guess it makes a lot of sense having the mech being this big. But if it was any smaller, I don't know how they would have got the figure inside. But guess what? You don't have to display a figure inside. If you want more troops around, these can all just be empty. That's fine too. Here's the box, and I kind of like it. I think the look of the box is nice. The nice artwork showing the destruction. They're destroying a city. That works. It gets the job done. You can see the artwork where a Cobra Trooper is getting out of there. So that works. You can see that a figure fits inside there. But it is an exclusive. So it's kind of like the Trouble Bubble was an exclusive to Hasbro Pulse. But it's sold out in like a day. I was on the fence. $75 is not a bad price. It's a decent price for the offering, for the size, for the scale, and all of that. But some people are going to troop build these. I'm sure a lot of people bought them in triplicate so that they can have 3 on the shelf. That makes sense. And for a reasonable price point, not bad. This picture doesn't show it, but I had one in my cart, and I was just mulling over it before they sold out, and it's still in my cart even though it's sold out. Next up, we've got good old Blowtorch here, and I think he looks pretty good. Except for the fact that I want more retro. But I can still appreciate the more modern take, probably more realistic coloration than like an orange, but I'm fairly certain they're going to do a retro version, and I've kind of gotten away from buying 3 of everything, and then I've realized I don't have the space and the budget anymore, so with that, I'm going to wait for a retro of this guy, but I'm excited. The fact that he exists, I'm fairly certain there's going to be a retro, but this one itself does look good, and it's going to be hard if I see it in the store to pass on it. Lucky for me, I almost never see classified in the store, so really going to be easy to pass on it. Here is everything it comes with. I guess they didn't show packaging mock-ups of these for whatever reason, but yeah, looks good, pretty decent. I do like flame effects, kind of consistent with the flame effects that they already use with Torch. Then we get into the old Frag Viper. Now this is another one that has a very modernized update, and I'm actually okay with the modernized update. There's one reason I didn't order it, and that's because I Didn't like the price on BBTS. We'll talk about that. And I didn't order it through Pulse because my premiums ran out. So a lot of factors to consider. There's nothing really making me want to get into the premium again, which I probably would have with these, if I bought several of these mech suits, but still like only 7 shipping if you order a bunch. But still, this guy here looks great. I do like that he's very retro with a bit of a modern take, which is exactly what Classified should be. And with this, I don't see them doing a retro collection one. It's retro enough the way it is. And it's not a fan favorite. I mean, there are people that do look at it as fan favorite. And there is the pack out, like all the stuff that comes with, which when you look at it like this, it doesn't look like a whole lot, but it's enough for a standard release figure. Yeah, at Hasbro Pulse is 25, BBTS is 27. I'm going to show that here at the end. Now we're going to get into Darklon. Now this is the only one I actually ordered, and I think it is a very good representation of Darklon. So they are faithful to the vintage figure, which I had as a kid, and I liked it as a kid. I thought it was just so crazy, weird, and fun, and I had them. And then another one that's probably not going to be a fan favorite, probably the worst one to pre-order because of the fact that he's going to be a low-demand figure. Not everybody's going to want him. He's probably going to be on sale at some point, but he's the only one that I really, really wanted, and I'll pay the extra couple bucks at the BBTS to get it, but looks good overall. Quite a bit of accessories. Got that nice little revolver there. So, sheath for sort of standard gun, whatever that is, and an extra face, which people are speculating what's going to happen with that extra face, but still pretty cool looking figure. Footloose is a pretty good looking figure overall. The original figure was a bit on the bland side. This one is less green and more tan, which I don't understand all that. Like, why would they go that route with it? But they did go that route with it. And everything else seems to be consistent with a vintage figure, except slightly modernized, which is exactly what should be going on with the G.I. Joe Classified line. And his helmet is not super retro, and with the extra tan and stuff in him, there's a possibility he's going to get a retro version in the future. But I think this will be good enough for me. If I see him in the store, I'd probably pick him up, because there's no guarantees on retro stuff, and everything he's coming with works pretty well. Also want to point out that aside from the knife and the gun, which probably were molded in on the vintage figure, but his pack out with the bazooka and the machine gun there, all that stuff is consistent with the vintage accessories we had back in the day, and I do kind of like that throwback. Next we get into the diver team, and I think the big thing is, their divers are cool. More or less probably just reusing that whole that mold we already got from the first divers. Those 2 figures that were pretty much similar, but you get the heavy water, you get the elements with it. No element of surprise there. And then I think people will be troop building these. They're sold out at Target as Target exclusive, and Pulse had some, but they're sold out at both places. And it's one of the things I already plan on passing on. Just I don't need them, but I think they are interesting, and it's cool, and it's a good reuse of what they had going on already. But I think people are concerned that it's the only way to get the heavy water for the mass device. I believe if they make a mass device, I think you'll still get all the elements too. So really not much of a showing on the live stream, but I have to say these new pre-orders that they put up for pre-order are pretty nice overall. Now getting into some more stuff that they were talking about in here, we've got some really good stuff that they are kind of unveiling in, and so this stuff's not all up for pre-order, but still it's pretty exciting that this stuff is getting made. So I'm just going to throw out the name-only reveals now, then we're going to look at the pictures of the stuff that actually had. So Battle Armor Cobra Commander, which is one that I personally disliked as a kid because it was on the shelf and I wanted a standard Cobra Commander, the one that was in the show. And then as time went by, I appreciate that figure more nowadays, so I'll be picking that up. Monkey Wrench, got to get all the Dreadnoks, so Monkey Wrench is another one. And then Major Blood, which I didn't watch the whole live stream, so I'm curious about Major Blood. Is it just going to be a reissue of the other one? It doesn't look like a retro, and I would have preferred a retro. Not sure what's going on with that, but they didn't show it. And then Renegades 2-pack with Sergeant Slaughter and Mercer is what they're saying. And I don't understand why they don't just come out with the 3 Renegades, but that's beyond me. All right, Snake Eyes version 4, Amazon exclusive, gonna be later on, I guess. And then I have had this figure for a long time, and I was always kind of surprised by it. It's a nice looking figure overall, but it's another Snake Eyes that I just don't... I stopped getting excited about Snake Eyes as I really don't need 8 of them. But it's different enough that it's worth a release, I believe. Also, getting into this Hawk, and this is from back in the day, the MMS. We knew this was coming because they made the one for the HISSTANK, so it's no surprise. And the original release did come with a Hawk figure, so that makes a lot of sense to me. Then there's a retro green shirt troop builder, which I'm curious how popular this is. You're going to hear a lot of people saying, yes, it's finally we get it. We really want this. And then it doesn't sell well. I'm curious. We'll see how well it sells. But I have my own... I have my reservations about it. I'm not even sure if I'm going to pick one up. But I don't know if it's going to be troop built like a Cobra Trooper. Just the way it is. And we got a retro bat. Now, I will say that it looks good. The first bat they made was great. This is going to be more retro. But at the end of the day, it's still not as good as the one Super 7 put out already, which is my problem. And I'm okay with bats being significantly larger than a G.I. Joe Classified. And those bats went on sale for like 20 bucks. It's at one point 11. So price point wise, like I've got enough bats. But I'll probably pick one up just for the package, to keep it in the package. But I do like the bats. I got a batty problem. Then they showed off more of the Cold Slither stuff, which I think is a cool idea. And everybody's guessing about $150 for the price point. So I'm on the fence at $150. And I really think I might just not pick it up and go for Super 7's O-ring ones. But at the same time, that's going to end up costing about $150 the same. So anyhow, I'm on the fence. I might snag this one up for an SDCC exclusive. And here's a box. I don't think we saw this, the outer of the box. We saw the inner of the box before. So they showed some more stuff. And yeah, looks pretty cool. Interesting how they're digging deep into some of these kind of things for G.I. Joe Classified already. Alright, so this is kind of what's turned me off a bit to pre-ordering this stuff. My mantra was to go to BBTS and pre-order it because then I have more control of my order. And if I decide I don't want it at the time it arrives, I can just cancel it. So there's a lot of positives to it, but the price is much higher. So I guess they're building in the fact people do cancel orders. I don't know. I'm coming up with all these excuses, but the reality is it's significantly more expensive. $3 more is far above 10% more than everybody else. And with that, that's a pain. And BBTS, looking down below, don't you remember when Joes were $20? The good old days. A lot of good stuff in the live stream. A lot of things to be excited about. But at the end of the day, I only pre-ordered one. Pre-ordered Darklon. That's all I wanted to pre-order. And I'll either find the rest in the store or pass on it and miss out. Let me know what you guys think about these reveals, the pre-orders, and how this is going in the comments below. Like, subscribe to Hang Around.